All right, what's going on, guys? I want to make a real, raw, honest, just unfiltered video and share what's going on with me right now because I think it's going to help someone out there. Over the last few years, I've done over 7 million sales, and that's across a range of industries. So when I was a full-time door-to-door sales rep, I did 2.1 million my first year. I've sold over 3 million in info products from my own business, and also over 2 million in real estate investing, also from my own business. So I have a lot of experience there. But to be completely honest with you, just kind of being, I guess, a little vulnerable. For the last few years, one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with is, what am I actually meant to do? Like I'm doing all these different things, and like, yes, I'm making money, and I've had great experiences and really bad experiences. But there was a lack of understanding of why I was doing it. What am I doing it for? Who am I meant to serve? And is this what even I'm meant to do? And those thoughts have gone through my head rampantly, especially for the last few months. So I just turned 27, okay? My birthday is December 13th, and my mom came down to visit me here in Miami. I live downtown Miami, awesome spot. And we had a conversation of like, hey, like, what do you want to do long term? Like, what do you really want to do? Because I've been feeling this lack of alignment for quite a bit of time now. And I think it's taken me a lot of struggle and a lot of loss and a lot of reflection to be able to realize that something is trying to get my attention, telling me that there's a different direction that I need to go in. And I believe that's my intuition. I recently took a trip to the mountains, not like a weird trip or anything like that. I literally just drove, say, the mountains, took some time to reflect. And as a pro tip, if you're in a big decision-making moment in your life, whether it could be in your business, your job, relationship, like some very big change, maybe you're thinking about moving, take time away from where you live. I love where I live in Miami. It's amazing. But when you get out of your environment, it helps you process things differently because you don't have the natural stimuli that you normally do. Your mind opens, it unfolds, right? You don't need to use any substances to do this. You literally just need to go away. That's all I did. And I went and hiked, and it was awesome. And I journaled and I meditated. But the point is this. For years, I've done things to make money, right? Making money has been my focus. And I want to be very transparent. Making money is extremely important to me. Okay, like extremely important. I have two major goals at this stage in my life, at being 27. One is making a lot of money, as much money as possible. I'm not going to hide that. No, I'm trying to make as much money as I humanly can. Okay. The other is fulfilling my mission, what I feel like God is calling me to do. And I think I've been playing the game wrong. I have put this idea of how can I make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, as the foremost goal in my mind. Not what is the mission that God is calling me to do. And you call me crazy, but I have this belief, and I might watch this video in years, but man, you're a complete idiot for what you thought. I feel like if I do what I'm actually meant to be doing, what my mission is, I think everything else will come. And the reason I think about that is because one of the reasons I did so well in sales when I was a full-time rep, my first year I did 2.1 million sales. I had no training, okay? That was not normal. I wasn't focused on how can I make as much money as possible, right? Or how can I close this deal? I was focused on serving the person in front of me, genuinely. And everything else came. And I'm like, well, if I understand that from a sales perspective, especially when I coach sales reps, I've had a lot of people on my team, and I've also, coached and consulted with other people's teams. That's one of the biggest things we focus on. Hey, dude, stop worrying about the sale. Focus on serving the person in front of you. So I'm like, well, if I have that perspective in sales, why don't I have that in business? And don't I think that if that's what works in sales, it works in business? And I'll just be transparent with you. I've just hit bottlenecks. I've scaled companies to over $235,000 a month in new cash collected. In terms of like top line revenue, well over $300,000 a month, right? And I've started different companies and scaled them, and I've had things go down, things go up, and all these different experiences that will be saved for another video that I'm sure you guys will really enjoy to hear about. But my point is this, is more recently I've just been hitting this wall where I'm like, man, like why can't I get past this level? I've literally been past the level. I'm like, man, I'm having the same problems that I've had before, the same exact issues. And for some reason, I'm like, I can't get past them. And to me, what I recognize is that if I'm having the same problems, it's because of the way that I'm making decisions. And I thought of an analogy like dating a girl. Imagine you date a girl and, it's a toxic relationship, whatever you want to call it. And then you do it again, and you do it again. Well, it's not the girl's fault, it's your fault. You're the common denominator. It's the way that you're picking the girls. And maybe you stop going to the nightclub to meet them. Maybe instead you go to, Publix or something, right? And so I started to apply that with the way that I'm looking at business. I'm like, well, if I keep having the same issues, it's probably because of the way in which I'm making decisions, the picks that I'm making, right? The thought process going into the businesses that I'm doing. I know what I want to do long term. I've always known. I felt it. And it's a long vision. I don't care if it takes me decades to achieve it. I don't care if I do that when I'm 70. As long as I can achieve what I feel like I'm meant to achieve before I die, I'm okay with that. But this idea of having a mission-centered business where I feel like I'm doing what God is calling me to do, and I want to make it clear, like I'm not like super religious. I 100% believe in God. I'm not like specific to any religion, but I believe that there's something much greater, and there's a role that each one of us come here to fulfill. And I just haven't felt like I've been doing that. It's like I'm working hard, but I'm not 100% aligned with my vision. And I think that's reflected in my results. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. Why am I not being able to get there? I'm like, I don't think I'm banging on the right door. The one thing, I've done so many different types of businesses, from obviously being a sales rep, which isn't a business, but selling info products, different things in real estate, all these different stuff. The one common denominator I always go back to, where I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to serve and help others, what I feel like I'm the best at, what I feel like is given to me from God as like a special gift, not to sound, pretentious, it's just what I'm good at, is sales. That's what I love. That's what I'm the best at. Sales and personal development. To me, those are one-on-one. Because to be an amazing salesperson, you have to have been personally developed and continuously be going through that. You have to do the deep inner work, and man, I've done a lot, and I have more to do. I'm constantly doing it. And to be frank with you, a lot of the work that I do with salespeople when I'm training them, right, it has very little to do with stuff on the calls. We talk about, going deeper, discovery, probing, et cetera, stuff like that, right? Objection handling, all the stuff that you need to be doing. But the real lifts that I've seen in both my own performance and others, it has nothing to do with what you say on the calls. It has everything to do outside of it. It has to do with your life. If you've got a salesperson who they're reading the same script, talking to the same leads as the other people, but they're getting worse results, it's not about the leads of the script. It's about that person. It's about what's going on in their head, right? What's going on in their heart. It's the work you do off the calls. It's doing the self-development work. It's making sure they have a good life off the calls. They actually enjoy what they're doing, right? I feel like I really need to listen to intuition. I'd be making a major mistake if I didn't. To really put a strong emphasis on going in that direction of where I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to serve people. When my mom came to town, this was back in December, right? My birthday, December 13th. And I thought about where I wanted to go. I'm just like, wow, I don't see how what I'm doing right now is going to get me there. I have to get more clear on my vision, and I need to start reorienting myself to get in full alignment. And here's the thing I thought of. If I've made millions in business, right? And I'm talking about top line revenue. I'm not trying to hear flex like a guru. This is top line revenue. Okay, I've made personal great income, but I'm talking about millions top line revenue. All right. If I've done that with things that I'm not crazy interested about, not 100% passionate about, what could I do if I felt, or if I was doing the thing that I felt God was truly calling me to do, that I feel 100% alignment with, 100% in conviction with? And what would happen if I change my focus for how can I just make as much money as possible to how can I do what God is calling me to do? How can I serve the mission that's in front of me? Where am I uniquely qualified to help others? What am I best at? What do I enjoy the most? What is the intersection of all those things? To me, that's sales and personal development. I'd really like to see what would happen. And I feel like, listen, I'm 27. Hopefully I live for a long time. That's my goal, right? I would regret not giving myself the opportunity to see. It's that whispering. It's that calling. It's like that voice in the back of your head saying, hey, you're supposed to go over here. It's your intuition, because it's my intuition. Every time I have ignored my intuition, it has not come on. And I say that because I've done it so many times, and over the course of my life, I've made so many crazy things that on the outside didn't make sense. Like when I left my roofing sales job where I was making $300,000 a year to go start my first business, that didn't make sense to anyone. But I felt that calling inside me. I knew I needed to do that. I'm really glad I made that decision. But to the outside, and even to myself, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. How can I do that? I took that call to adventure. And I just feel like someone trying to get my attention again. And I need to listen to it. And here's what I tell you before we jump off. there's a lot of talk about following your passion, right? Follow your passion, right? Or a lot of people now, there's a counterculture of, you don't need to follow your passion, that's stupid, right? Here's my thoughts. If you are skilled at the thing you're passionate about, why not do that, right? Because listen, if you're starting your first business, you're like, I'm passionate about art, I'm gonna go start an art store. It's like, probably not gonna go well, right? You don't have the skills. But I'm in a unique position where thankfully, the things that I'm passionate about, sales and personal development, I'm also really good at. I'd like to see what happens if I go as deep into that as I can. I hope this helps some of you out. Think about this stuff. See you next one.